So the live-action Yu Yu Hakusho has arrived on Netflix, and after live adaptation upon live adaptation of so many anime flopping and not delivering in any sense of the word, I'm so happy to say that we finally got the definitive one in which we can ride off into sunset with. This is officially the ground floor, the bottom line, the bare minimum, the standard for what a live-action adaptation of an anime should live up to, especially something as acclaimed as Yu Yu Hakusho. First and foremost, the show feels like the real thing, a real live adaptation of an anime, a show we love and adore, as long as you're not stupid enough to try and watch it in English, that is. Pacing is rather incredibly fast, and there are extreme liberties taken in order to progress the story as fast as they wanted to, and we'll get to that. Still, it fails to disappoint regardless of what they did. So the first thing I want to address here is answering the question, how exactly does Yu Yu Live, let's just call it Yu Yu Live, how exactly does it make you feel? It's inevitable that if you watch the original anime, you'll be coming into this constantly comparing, especially if it's your favorite anime like it is mine, or you hold it in some kind of high regard. Like, how do you feel about it both standalone and in comparison? Guys, this thing feels like Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't know what it is, but whoever orchestrated this entire production, they or them have had some kind of connection, some kind of roots connected to the original, and was able to capture and deliver it through spirit. Cause much as I tried to sniff through the grift, I didn't really see much. It's fairly faithful. It doesn't stay stuck in the past of the 90s or anything, and it's not trying too hard to bring the franchise into the contemporary world either with social commentary and all of that. It's the perfect sweet spot or safe haven for both old Hakusho fans and potential new ones to dwell in harmony. Alright, so what I was saying with pacing the story earlier. So these guys took liberties in altering certain parts of the story in order, I assume, to make the experience holistic. And I totally understand as it is only 5 episodes. The anime gives you the story of Yusuke's death as a random driver almost crashing into the little boy by mistake and Yusuke dies. Whereas in this, spoiler alert, the demon world is already showing its infiltration of our dimension when the little bugs we don't see till several episodes into the anime, or am I wrong? It's been years since I've seen it, but I'm almost 100% sure it wasn't so early. But yeah, they show up and possess the driver in episode 1 of the live action, and that's how this truck came out of nowhere. We also see another kid get hit with the same bug creature too, one of the high school guys that Kuwabara and Yusuke and them went to school with, around the part where they're doing Yusuke's wake. There's a few other things you'll see here and there not to be found in manga or anime, but yeah, go watch and you'll see what I'm talking about. Another thing by the end of the 3rd episode, which would add up to maybe 8 or 9 anime episodes, we are already introduced to Toguro and his brother and the whole Yukimura thing with the ugly fat guy that wants her tears. Yeah, but I feel like speeding things up in general is common sense from a business point of view. But I also feel the hyper speed to which this move was in order to eliminate all the fluff and comedy I personally don't care to see that we're often stuck with in anime. It opts away from that to provide us with the next thing we'll be getting into for this video, the goddamn action. Okay, I'm gonna jump out the window here. I personally haven't watched something live action and seen such highly choreographed fights and excellent use of After Effects and other film tricks since like the last Marvel movie I watched, whenever that was. As a matter of fact, the fight with Yusuke and Goki in the 2nd episode might be comparable. Alright, not budget-wise, but the energy is similar to watching a Hulk movie or something from Marvel, honestly. I was actually really surprised by how good the action is in this show. The Hiei fights, Karama, even the little quick scuffle Yusuke and Kuwabara had early on in the 1st episode, it was gold. Casting and acting wasn't top tier or anything, but I do feel like they selected accordingly, especially with Yusuke's character. That guy really embodied the role, which is why I said earlier, whoever put this together was very intentional and probably holds Yu Yu Hakusho in some level of reverence, because the spirit traveled. It did. A couple people are kinda off, like Hiei's character, he killed the part with the fights and the choreography especially, but I don't feel like he looked the part necessarily. Kuwabara's character energy was right on point, the best they could possibly do, turning that anime into real life with Kuwabara, but his physique wasn't quite on. Maybe he could have used a little bit more muscle or something, you know, Kuwabara is a bigger dude. Now the one character I totally wasn't a fan of their design or anything like that, way better costume could have been made. I think you already know who. Karama. I mean, really? His Yoko version is much better, I'll bless him with that, but generally he's one of the main characters that are extremely off. Anyways, you'll be just as attracted to Keiko, Botan, and Yusuke's mom in this as you are in the anime. I think all three are fitting. If I was to make changes, I feel like Botan's character and her look in the anime has more of a grown woman in her mid-20s feel, and so the Botan in here does play her role impeccably. She does her thing, but fits more into that late teens, early 20s vibe, mainly because of her looks and whatnot. Listen, all green lights on the UU live action. They knocked it out the park, and under no circumstances should you let this one pass you by. Get on it immediately. Thank you so much for this, Netflix, because this is what we really needed as opposed to some cheap remake of the anime. If we're being honest, that would have ended up not translating to the culture of 2023 and would ultimately meet a fate by the name of obsolete. Dog, that was crazy. Man, so the Yu Yu Hakusho live action, man. So it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and Shabes, shout out to Caribou Coon, AniTube Digest, all of that. I saw him raving about it. Like, I just opened my Twitter and saw a tweet X. I opened it up and saw a tweet from him about how it's good and this and that. So I went and I checked it out. And I got about 15 minutes into the first episode and I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I ended up watching the whole thing. So that's damn near 5 hours. From like 2 o'clock in the morning, almost 3, until literally right now. If you're watching this, you probably already listened to the audio part of this. I already chopped up the audio, chopped up some of the clips that I'm gonna use. Like, I've been up all night and then I gotta go to work. It's almost like 7:30 right now. I gotta go to work, but I just wanna come wrap my thoughts up and stuff like that. This is great. This is the representation that anime needs in exposing it to the rest of the world. So there's gonna be people that see this on Netflix, that's gonna watch this on Netflix, and they're gonna start to look into it a little bit more, who created it, whatever, and then they're gonna find out that it was, it's from an anime or a manga from the 90s or whatever. They're gonna get in. People are going to discover anime. More importantly to me and this channel, people are gonna discover golden era anime. Go back and look into these things based off of that. I promise you that. If it's nothing but 1,000 people, there's going to be a community of people that discover anime, and specifically retro anime, because they saw that. Because this is incredible. I'm talking about, this is blockbuster movie level incredible. The action, I already said that. The Dragon of the Darkness flame from here. I didn't mention that in the audio, but you know what I mean? It captured the actual feel from the show. I remember specifically there was a couple of moments. I don't know if I was projecting in the moment, but like the whole Kuwabara, when Yusuke dies and he comes and he sees his wake, his funeral, whatever. Kuwabara comes and sees that he's dead, and he's like, you shouldn't have left me. You how could you beat me and then die? No, you get back here, Urameshi. I actually felt myself tearing up, just like watching the anime. I don't know if I'm projecting. Some of you guys talk to me and tell me if you felt the same. I really feel like they captured that. And I'm gonna say it again. Whoever worked on this, I don't really get into directors and all the specific. I don't really care about all of that. I'm not a nerd on that level. But whoever worked on this, trust me, they have some kind of connection to Yu Yu Hakusho in some kind of a way. Whether they were a 30-year fan or whatever, they knew what they were doing with this particular franchise. I also remember when same Kuwabara, the spirit gun, like it felt kind of similar with that, spirit sword. It felt similar to like when he first unleashed it in the anime. Like, it was just well done. And of course the women, it's crazy. Let's just be honest. All of us are attracted to Botan. If you're a heterosexual male, you're attracted to Botan. You're attracted to Yusuke's mom, maybe attracted to Keiko, I don't know. At least when I was younger, at that age, when I was a teenager, whatever, early 20s, watching this. These women that they selected to do Botan, Yusuke's mom, and Keiko look phenomenal, especially Keiko character. Well, it depends on your taste or whatever, because some guys might be into that Korean looking, like I think Yusuke's mom look a little bit more Korean. Keiko looks like your traditional Japanese, and then whoever's playing Botan, she could damn near be Chinese for all I know. Even the guy who plays, I'll get to the male characters after too, because they did a good job selecting them. But like, nah, man, this is incredible. This is good work, man. This is good. This is what we need. We need more like this. But I'm gonna finish what I said about the women. Great women that they chose. Beautiful, like just beautiful. And why I brought that up is because this is another small example that lets me know, trust me, whoever, they knew they had, it couldn't just be some little mid-looking chick off the street. No, it had to be beautiful women that they chose, because there's a certain sex appeal and a certain attractiveness to the female characters of Yu Yu Hakusho. So I'm telling you, there's a connection there that's going on. It's not some random grifter coming in trying to make money off the franchise. They did a good job with the male guys too. Most of them, they look like models or whatever. The guy, of course, the guy who played Yusuke did an incredible job encompassing that character. For all we know, that guy who played Yusuke probably watched the show. Not by force. He might have damn watched the show before. He probably already was a fan of the show. Who knows? You know? But man, I'm so, like, for the future of live action anime adaptations, I'm very happy. I'm very glad to see where we're going, because this is what we need. The One Piece one was all right, but this is what we need. And I want to say something else. Like, I'll go as far as to say, as a standalone, I'll say it this way. The background of Yu Yu Hakusho, like the manga and the anime, might actually hold this back from being as legendary as it could be in its own regard, like as a movie. As a Japanese movie, as an action movie, it might be held back by the Yu Yu Hakusho franchise, because let's be real, we're never putting it up with the actual anime or anything like that. It's never gonna happen. But imagine that this came out on its own regard. Imagine this came out as its own thing. There was no Yu Yu Hakusho and they put that story out. I mean, this would, think about it. If any of you guys that watched it, please talk to me in the comments. Think for yourself. What if you saw this and you didn't know nothing about Yu Yu Hakusho, the concept, everything? So take Yu Yu Hakusho's back history of the anime and everything out of it, and look what we got. I'm telling you, this is good stuff. And you know, I remember they did the Cowboy Bebop live action that didn't do too good. I never really cared for the Attack on Titan live actions, the Death Note live actions, like all the live actions we've seen over the years were whatever. But this was, nah, man, this is it. So I just wanted to come in and give my thoughts on that. Also, what I want to say is, I mentioned it in the audio part, but I feel like this is comparable, like the action and stuff was compared, like, let's just say the overall technology of it, you know, the extra After Effects, you know, the way that the fights were choreographed, everything like that. Somebody really put some heart into this, you know, and if you haven't seen it, you're going to enjoy it for that. I'm sure you're seeing all the clips that I've been putting in between and everything. You could see for yourself. I don't have to say it. You could see for yourself. Please, if you have not seen it yet, I know it only came out like a day ago or whatever from the time that you're watching this, if you're watching this today. But if you're watching this in the future and you haven't seen, you need to go to Netflix or wherever you can find it at that very point and go check it out. Especially if you're a Yu Yu Hakusho fan. You will not be disappointed. I'm telling you. Well, maybe you might be disappointed depending on what your expectations are, but if you just come into this and is it good or is it bad, there's absolutely no way you could walk away from this and not think it's good. They just did a good job. It doesn't feel, no social comment, no weird social commentary being forced in there, no weird, you know, where you know, a lot of times you walk away from adaptations. It even happens with anime getting adapted from mangas. A lot of manga people feel this way about a lot of times things get animated and it's like, dog, would you just stick to the script? Like, would you just, you know what I mean? Like, focus and do what you're supposed to do. Stop doing all the extra weird shit. You know what I mean? But this, it lays it down the way it needs to be laid down. So, man, I'm tired. I'm about to go do an 8-hour fucking work on absolutely no sleep, but you know, I'm just in a grind right now. I'm really enjoying. I'm not gonna speak too much of, you know, about for you guys who've been watching every day. I'm not gonna get into that in this video. We'll have a conversation about, you know, the recent activities on anime back when, in the weeks to come. But man, for now, Yu Yu Hakusho live adaptation, go and watch it, man. Like the video, comment down below what y'all want to see next. Peace.